Hello guys, welcome back. Let's continue our discussion of methods by looking at two methods, one that converts the Fahrenheit temperature into a Celsius temperature and another which takes the Celsius temperature and turns into Fahrenheit temperature. We will develop those one of the time and test them as we go to make sure that they are working correctly. So we begin the definition of our method below or above main. I'm gonna do mine below. So we will start out with the keyword static, the return type of data that we return from function will make double, and I'm gonna say this F to C to go from Fahrenheit to Celsius, and it will take a double temperature as its parameter to perform conversion, and we can do this again as a one-time program, but just to show the difference I will do it with a couple of lines. So let's start by declaring Celsius temperature and there we are going to say Celsius is equal to temp minus 32 times 5.0 divided by 9.0. I use these parentheses to make sure that the correct sub-expressions are computed first, and then we are going to return the Celsius temperature. Return Celsius. And that's all I have to write for my function. So let's test the function. Let's prompt the user to enter the temperature. So I have imported the scanner class. We will create a scanner object first. Scanner input is equal to new scanner system.in. Then we will create double Fahrenheit temperature and a double Celsius temperature variable, and then we will say system out print enter a temperature and Fahrenheit, then ftemp is equal to input dot next double, and then we will say ctemp is equal to f to c ftemp. So ftemp becomes our argument that matches the parameter with the number and the data types. So we have one parameter and one argument. Our parameter is double as is our argument. And then we can print out the result system.out.println ftemp plus f is equal to plus ctemp plus c. I believe that's all we need to test this. So let's save the file and we will compile it. Java C chapter part 2 .java Java chapter part 2. So what's something we know that 32 Fahrenheit should be 0 Celsius. 32.0 F is equal to 0.0 C. Let's try once more. 212 Fahrenheit, that's the boiling point, that should be 100 Celsius. That's right. So we have Fahrenheit to Celsius function working correctly. This is a very good example of a typical function where we want to perform some named tasks Fahrenheit to Celsius that we don't want to quarter up in the main program. One of the things you need to do when you are writing your program, just keep your main program as small as possible, as easy to read and as clear as possible. And one way to do that is to take as many possible computations out of main and put them into methods. So that is what we are doing here. Rather than having this code in our main program, we put it up in main. What they does beside cleaning up our code is that the reader of the program decide for themselves rather they want to go through the task of understanding what if to C does. If they don't care, they just skip it. If they do care, they can find the method definition and read it how it works. So now let's write a Celsius to Fahrenheit function also. So we start out static double C to F double temp double Fahrenheit is our variable, and then we are gonna write Fahrenheit is equal to, and the conversion function for that is a temp multiply 9.0 divided by 5.0 plus 32.0, and then we are going to return the Fahrenheit value, return Fahrenheit. Then we will talk a little bit more about return and seconds. We close the body. Let's comment out this code. It's just because I don't want to create a new scanner object. I need one. Anyway, so here we want to say system.out.print, enter a temperature in Celsius. Ctemp is equal to input dot next double, and then we will write ftemp is equal to C to F ctemp. There is the function call again with the correct argument, and then we will write system.out.println ctemp plus C is equal to plus ftemp plus F semicolon at the end of statement. Alright, that's right, we can fix it if it's not. Save. Let's compile. Clear screen. First compile. Here we go. Java chapter part 2. So 0 Celsius should be 32 Fahrenheit. Let's run it again. And 100 Celsius should be 212 Fahrenheit. That's right. Let's review a method definition again. We start out with the keyword static to indicate that this is not part of a class. There is another meaning for static inside class. We will look at that later in the course. Then we have return type of the function followed by the function name followed by parameter list. In this case it is just one parameter, the temperature. Then we open the method body, then we perform the task, and then finally all value returning methods has to have a returning statement where the value that the method computed is returned to the calling program. So that's why we have the return Celsius, or an example of C to F we return Fahrenheit, and then we close the body of the method with the closing curly brace, and then the method call where we want the method to perform its computation, and we can put that at any place an expression is expected. So in this case we are putting it on the right side of an assignment statement here and here, and then the data passed into the method call, which is called the argument, and we have to make sure that argument matches the parameter and data type and number, so that if we have more than one parameter in our parameter list, we have to have an equal number of arguments in the argument list and the method call. So there is another good example of how methods are written. What I want to do in the next lesson is look at the couple of method calls where we have more than one parameter, and in fact we will start out with an example from this Fahrenheit and Celsius conversion example that we are looking at right here. We will do that in the next lesson. Bye.